All right, welcome back, Truth Seeker. Number 15, St. Petersburg does it again. One of the greatest Cinderella stories there ever was in March Madness history. And of course, this is the Jesuit school out of New Jersey. St. Peter's began their run on St. Patrick's Day. Since then, they've beaten number 2 Kentucky, high seed Murray State, day after their star player goes down in the NBA, former star player, I should say, John Morant. And then tonight they upset Purdue on Peacock Day, March 25th, officially Peacock Day. They're the St. Peter's Peacocks. And I was going to make this video after they won after the 1 seed, the significance of this big upset and then being a 15th seed in the tournament. This is the first time in tournament history a number 15 seed has ever made it to the Elite 8, which is the final 8 teams. And consider the tournament now begins with 68 total teams. So they've made it to the remaining 8. And if you don't follow March Madness, the way the seeding works is they create 4 brackets in the tournament. And in each group of teams is seeded 1 through 16. They have something now called the first 4, which is why there's 68 teams. First, there's 4 games between 8 total teams. The winners of those games fill in the remaining brackets that are the final 4 larger brackets that are each seeded 1 through 16. So essentially, if you're seeded as a 1 seed, you're one of the top 4 teams in the tournament. If you're seeded as a 16 seed, you're one of the worst 4 teams in the tournament. If you're seeded as a 15 seed, you're one of the worst 8 teams in the tournament. And never before this season has a 15 seed made it to the last 8 teams. So this is a first in history, and this is the 83rd March Madness. Well, not technically under the name March Madness, but the 83rd men's college basketball tournament ever. The first was in 1939, the year World War II began. And the Oregon Webfoots won that tournament. As we know in Gematria, Webfoots equals 39, whereas in Gematria, Cinderella equals 83. And again, this is the 83rd tournament. And this is possibly the greatest March Madness college basketball tournament Cinderella story there ever was. And with regards to them being the 15 seed, this is how you got to put it together. You can only put it together if you have enough knowledge. And most people in this world don't have nearly enough knowledge to put it together. But this is how it is. St. Peter is really big in Russia. That's why the capital of Russia used to be St. Petersburg. And remember, the Jesuits were saved in history in Russia by Catherine the Great, the ruler of the time. During the suppression of the Jesuits, their order was preserved by the leader of Russia at the time, who was Catherine the Great. So the Jesuits in Russia are a big history. And St. Peter's has now won on the 84th day of the year. We'll talk about why that matters, advancing to the Elite 8. But first, we got to really understand the 15 seed and what this is all about. So in Gematria, the word war equals 15, right? That's what we're hearing over here in the U.S., that the Russia has done this act of war against Ukraine, which used to be part of one larger Soviet Union. The Soviet Union dissolved Christmas Day, 1991. This skirmish now happens right as Mikhail Gorbachev turns 91 years old, which happened on March 2nd, the last leader of the Soviet Union. But when the Soviet Union dissolved, it broke into 15 nations. You see, the Soviet Union went from 1 nation to 15 nations. The biggest of those nations is obviously Russia. And here's 15 seed St. Petersburg that starts the run on St. Patrick's Day, right? Now wins on Peacock Day. And the title of this video is where St. Petersburg meets Russia, meets Alec Baldwin. And of course, Alec Baldwin's been in the news since October 21st for shooting a Ukrainian woman on the set of Rust in a church shootout scene. Rust. Think about Rust. R-U-S. Isn't that commonly how Russia's abbreviated? Like when you see a list of, large countries with their flag next to it. Rus. R-U-S. And then the last letter is a T, which is also a cross, right? And it happens in a church shootout scene, and the cross is associated with death. Well, here, let me show you the gematria of Rust. It's 15 like war. But again, gematria is based on the alphabetic order forwards and backwards, right? So I want you to see something about Rust. Forwards, it's 15. In reverse, it's 30. The Soviet Union dissolved 30 years ago, Christmas of 91. Christmas 2021 was the 30-year anniversary. This whole thing popped off right after. Remember, Biden went over to meet with Putin on Pearl Harbor Day to talk about Ukraine. That was right before Christmas. But Rust, 15 and 30, in that same cipher where Rust is 15, so is War. That's the most pure cipher, the alphabetic order with the rules of numerology. Peacock Day is in the most simple cipher. It's 84, just like Jesuit. They're the Jesuit school, winning on Peacock Day on the 84th day of the year. The leader of Russia right now is Vladimir Putin, whose name is also 84 when you run the alphabetic order in versus numerology. Again, if you're new here, these are the base ciphers. Alphabetic order, forwards and backwards with the rules of numerology. You see through these ciphers, you see what's going on. Baldwin's shooting was in New Mexico, right? New Mexico. Notice the gematria. 48 forwards, 42 in reverse. And, here, let's just keep it simple. 48, 42. Do you remember the details of the story? That he shot 2 people and killed 1 person. He killed the Ukrainian woman who was 42 years old. And he also shot a 48-year-old who survived. That was the story. He shot a 48-year-old and a 42-year-old in New Mexico, right? And this was all part of the ongoing script for, where we are now. And notice when I write out World War, notice it equals 48 and 42, just like New Mexico does. And Russia is similar. Russia's 48 and 24, where 24 is the reflection of 42. And, of course, you just had Madeleine Albright die, who said in 97, after NATO turned 48 years old, she said it right after NATO turned 48, literally just days after NATO turned 48 years old in 97, she said NATO needs to expand and take over essentially all the old the new, former Soviet countries, former Soviet Union. That's what NATO needs to become. It needs to have all that in there. Eastern European, Russia, Ukraine, the countries that she specifically named in the speech. She said the Eastern European countries, Russia and Ukraine. And then the day that everyone gathers in the world to talk about Madeleine Albright, and what age did she die at, by the way? 84, big Jesuit number. But the day that all the leaders are gathering in NATO to talk about Russia, Ukraine, she dies, just coincidentally. And, they say that she came to the U.S. in 1948, and she's from the Eastern European part of the world. She immigrated to the U.S. in 48, gives her speech, 48 years, and then coincidentally dies while all this is going on in the ongoing conflict by the numbers. But here's the other part of this. So St. Peter's, I heard him say it at the end of the game tonight. They said St. Peter's is a 15 seed and the school's 150 years old. If you were watching the end of the game tonight after they won, they talked about how it was Peacock Day and they never knew such a thing existed before. 15 seed, 150-year-old school. And again, let's just go down memory lane. Let's come back to the Alec Baldwin thing in light of the school being 150 years old. Again, they're a 15 seed. Rust is 15. They said the Alec Baldwin shooting of the Ukrainian woman happened at 1:50 p.m. local time. 1:50 p.m. time. And here, let me bring all this together for you. You have to understand that the Illuminati was founded by the Jesuit Adam Weishaupt, May 1st, 1776. And think about that date, May 1st. It can be written 5/1, or the majority of the world writes the date 1/5, like 15, right? Now, look. If I write out Illuminati, notice how it has gematria of 150. You see that? 150. I could tell you something about all these numbers with Illuminati. We were just talking about 48, but 150 is the focus right now. The average distance of the sun from Earth is 150 million kilometers. And Illuminati means in the light. The sun is the source of light. The Jesuits serve the Catholic Church who worship on Sunday. The Jesuit logo is the sun. The in the Jesuit logo are the 3 nails that represent the crucifixion of Jesus. Do you see how there's a 150 in there? There's also a 201 and a 93. Triclavianism, that's the Roman way of capital punishment, how Jesus was believed to have been crucified. But 150, 201, 93. If you look up the Jesuit logo, it's the sun with the letters IHS inside, the Templar cross, and the 3 nails that are Triclavianism. Now look. If I write out Order of Illuminati, which is what Adam Weishaupt officially ended up naming the Illuminati, Order of Illuminati, notice how it's 201 and 93. And they say the sun is 93 million miles away on average, 150 million kilometers. And you can start to appreciate why they have these different measuring systems out there, because they're paying tribute to their number code. Notice also that Order of Illuminati is 105. What are the key digits in that? 15, like how we're talking about 15, 150. The Illuminati established May 1st, 5/1 or 1/5. So let's take it further. What's the model that says everything goes around the sun? Heliocentrism, right? What's it equal? It equals 150 and 201. It also equals 69 and 75, like Catholic Church. Vladimir Putin 69 right now while all this stuff's going on. You might have noticed, again, Illuminati was also 69. I mean, there's a lot of numbers we can get caught up in here, but we're focusing on, the key digits. So heliocentrism's got the 15201. Order of Illuminati's got the 15201. The Jesuit order has the 201 as well. Also the 69 like Illuminati. Alec Baldwin, his birthday is the 93rd day of the year. April 3rd, if you look it up. April 3rd, born on the 93rd day of the year. From his birthday to the shooting October 21st was 201 days later. You see? 93-201. Order of Illuminati. Are you getting how all this comes together? Illuminati 150. The shooting of a woman in a church shootout scene at 150 local. 201 days after his birthday on the 93rd day of the year. Remember, they compared what happened to the death of Brandon Lee. Go back and look at what day Brandon Lee was buried. You'll see he was buried on the 93rd day of 93 on Alec Baldwin's birthday. They compared Brandon Lee's death to Bruce Lee, his father's last film that he died while filming. If you don't know about Bruce Lee's last film, it's called Game of Death. In the movie, part of the plot, if you've never seen Game of Death, Bruce Lee plays a character named Billy Lowe, who's just like himself. He's a martial artist Hollywood actor, and there's a scene within the scene where he's filming a movie and somebody loads a real bullet into a gun because they want to kill him, and he gets shot. And they say that's what happened to his son on the set of The Crow. But Bruce Lee died on the 201st day of the year. You see, he died on the 201st day of the year. Now, what year did Game of Death come out? It came out in 79. What's Ukraine equals? 79, right? And you see, they did all these comparisons. They compared the Baldwin thing to Brandon Lee's death. Brandon Lee's death was compared to Bruce Lee's death while filming Game of Death. And now there's some kind of Game of Death going on with Russia and Ukraine, some supposed war that's going on that doesn't make any sense, but it's driving up energy costs and fitting into all the Agenda 21 and 2030 goals, which were agreed to by a gang of Jesuits who are the Illuminati. You see, the Illuminati controls the world, and this is how they control you. They stage all these rituals. It causes real-world consequences, and then they distract you with entertainment so you're not really paying attention or putting anything together. And they do it all by the numbers. All by the numbers. First, they have the master plan with 9/11, the big building that looked like an 11 in the 11 state, New York, hit on the day, leaving 111 days left in the year by the flight AA-11, the building that was 110 stories tall, 110. And then next thing you know, there's the Patriot Act. And then next thing you know, the game of 11 on 11 American football, the Patriots are the greatest team there ever was. But okay, let's make sure we went through all the points. St. Peter's is a 15 seed at a 150-year-old school, 150, right? And again, the first 15 seed to ever make it to the Elite Eight. Now, the biggest statue at the Vatican, it's funny that Rambo just talked about that. Sometimes I wonder, I don't know Rambo, you guys. He's just a great caller to the show who I love having on because his information's great. But sometimes I just like, is Rambo in something more than we know? Rambo this week, maybe he wanted to, I guess he wanted to talk about the Peacocks. What is going on with my computer right now? It's driving me nuts. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to get this to come up here right now. I'm getting hacked right now. The Vatican doesn't want me to show you this. Here we go. This is what Rambo was talking about. I've talked about this pine cone statue at the Vatican many times. The pine cone represents your mind's eye, which is what the Vatican's after. Control you from cradle to grave. But what's funny, what's at the foot of that pine cone statue are two peacocks. So the biggest statue at the Vatican is of peacocks. Okay? Now, understanding that all of this is Catholic ritual, notice in the most simple cipher, the alphabetic order, Catholic 71. The day of the Baldwin shooting, October 21st, that's the day leaving 71 days left in the year, right? March Madness has this Gematria 71. And every year it's a big Catholic Jesuit ritual. Even if a Catholic Jesuit school doesn't win it, the tournament's full of a million Catholic Jesuit rituals. We're documenting it every year and we're taking advantage of it. We're patting people's pockets by taking advantage of this rigged system. But Catholic, March Madness, both was 71. If you write out the Society of Jesus, you know, the formal title of the Jesuits, it's also 71. A huge number with their rituals. Okay? So again, just a church shooting with Alec Baldwin kills a Ukrainian woman, right? Big ritual with all the same numbers that have everything to do with what's going on with the Soviet Union, now the 15 nations, the skirmish between Russia and Ukraine, and what's going on with this 15 seed St. Petersburg in the tournament. Remember, again, don't make me go back to the bathroom bill example. The year that both the Carolina teams won, when it was all about the bathroom bill, that the news story synced up with the tournament, and it was about who can use what restroom. People who is someone born a man who now identifies as a woman? Is it okay for him to go in the ladies' room and say, "Sorry, ladies, I consider myself a girl now"? You know, is that okay? You're comfortable at the mall. Your 8-year-old daughter went to use the bathroom, and here comes in the 40-year-old guy who just decided yesterday, all of a sudden, he identifies as a little girl too. He wants to go in there with your 8-year-old daughter. Is that okay? Remember, that's what they were debating in the Carolinas at the time of the bathroom bill, when both Carolinas, men and women, won the tournament. And again, the women's tournament, the South Carolina Gamecocks won, and they referred to them as the Ladycocks that whole tournament. The Ladycocks won the bathroom bill tournament. Now we got old Baphomet dominating all the swimming races. There's another. If you guys have missed my work on Mr. Baphomet, the swimmer dude, the swimmer lady, best gets to be within the guidelines, I got to refer to him as a lady. He's got broad shoulders for a lady, but yeah, old Baphomet boy. If you missed my work on that, you better check it out. Super important. It's 10 times more undeniable than this, what they've done with that guy. Anyway, I think we put it all together here. I think we understand the ritual, hopefully, and the significance of why they're doing all this at this time, at this moment. And, if you didn't know this, Albert Pike's letter about 3 world wars, it's dated August 15th, 1871. That was the Jesuit birthday. But 1871, 71, right? And not to mention August 15th, that's the day the Jesuits were created in Paris, France. And you want to get cute, that's the 337th birthday of the Jesuits. They were established 1534 in Paris, France. They turned 337 years old on that day. The day Albert Pike wrote the letter about 3 world wars before any of them happened, on a date that couldn't have been any more Jesuit Catholic. Again, St. Peter's, the Jesuit school. And the 337th birthday is the 68th prime number. Remember, World War I started on a date with 68 numerology. World War II started on a 68 date numerology. And the Ukraine-Russia military conflict began February 24th. The date was 68 numerology. And here's what it's all about. Again, you got to understand what it's all about. Heliocentrism is the name of the model that says the sun's at the center of the earth. And why is it called heliocentrism? Because Helios is the old sun god for the Romans and the Greeks. Helios, which equals 68. And notice, Catholicism, when you run the alphabetic order in reverse, is 68. Just like mathematics, just like solar system. And what else is 68 is basketball. Basketball is also 68, like how the new March Madness format with the first 4 puts 68 teams in the tournament. And you see how basketball is also 22 in the most pure and 85. The coach of St. Petersburg, is born on October 7th, which is also Vladimir Putin's birthday. Here, I'll just show you this. Shaheen Holloway has the same birthday as Vladimir Putin, okay? Because again, St. Peter's, Russia, right? October 7th, the day leaving 85 days left in the year, the day we invaded Afghanistan. By the way, the word Templar is 85, Crucify is 85, Christ is 85. But Pope Francis is 85 right now. Basketball is 85. Jesus Hominum Salvator equals 85. The first ever March Madness, when they changed the name to March Madness, was 1985. The Jesuit school, Georgetown, lost to the Catholic school, Villanova. But Shaheen Holloway, the coach of St. Peter's, he has the same birthday as Vladimir Putin. Yeah, this all comes together so perfectly. St. Petersburg, Russia, St. Peter's. Just happens to have the same birthday, just happens to be the day leaving 85 days left in the year while it's synced with the 85-year-old Pope after the Rams win the Super Bowl in their 85th season, giving Brady his 85th career loss, and then win the game with 85 seconds left on the winning touchdown to another wide-open Cooper Kupp, whose full name equals 244 and wins the Heisman, or not the Heisman, but the Super Bowl MVP on his 244th day of his age. There's a lot more to say about that, too. But anyway, you just see how perfect it all is. And I told you guys, it's going to be all about 85 this year in sports. Daytona 500 the week after the Super Bowl. What happens? Penske Racing wins on Roger Penske's 85th birthday. You know, and if you missed my video on that, go back and see how coded it out was with the Jesuits. They coded it a million different ways. It couldn't have been any more Jesuit. They even ran 201 laps this year at the Daytona 500. But yeah, you guys, this is the world we live in. This is how big of a joke the world we live in. How rigged the sports is, how bullshit the news is, how bullshit a war can be. I mean, they what do they call it? The theater of war? I could go on all day about all the shit they've been doing over there. But just understand, this is the St. Peter's joke. St. Peter's the 15 seed. And the time of rumors of Vladimir Putin reuniting the 15 nations of the former Soviet Union, you know, with the coach who has the same birthday as him. And, I mean, you have to be brain dead to not see this as rigged. St. Peter's wouldn't beat anybody if it wasn't rigged. They probably wouldn't even have been in the tournament, you know. Look how small they are. Are you kidding me? I mean, you got to be real fucking good at basketball to compete with big guys. I know how it is. I'm a good basketball player, but I'm only 5'10". You get on a basketball court with good guys that are all 6 foot plus. I mean, it's hard to compete when you're 5'10", you know? So, but in rig sports, they can just make anything happen. And, you know, again, I'm tired of explaining. I mean, it's just, you have to be brain dead to not see the games are rigged. You can see when the players aren't trying, when they're not trying to put the ball in the hoop, when they're doing stupid turnovers, when they're wasting too much time when they shouldn't be, when the coaches are doing things that make absolutely no sense, when the refs are just making horribly biased calls. And then on top of all that, I know they got technology to ensure the outcomes, and you got to be blind as a bat to not see it. Just pay attention to when sometimes these announcers get excited about the way a ball fell down, like, wow, how did that get in there? Or when they're going, how did that come out? I was watching a game last round about a week ago. The ball was down. It was rattling through and it was down. And then all of a sudden it just popped back out. And you could see the spin of the ball just changed the whole opposite direction. And then they show you on the slow-mo replay. It's like, okay, look at how that ball's going down. Look at the rotation of the ball. What's going to cause the ball all of a sudden to start rotating the opposite way and fly out of the hoop? As the announcer saying, how did that go out of the rim? Yeah, how did that go out of the rim? How was that physically possible for the entire motion of... what's the law of physics? I don't have my science quotes in front of me right now, but I mean, there was a force that acted upon that ball to change the entire way it was rotating and make it go the complete opposite direction. I mean, as someone who played basketball, I know that sometimes you get a lucky bounce. Sometimes you're like, wow, how did that one fall in there, man? Oh, I thought that one was off the mark. It rattled in. But still, some of these shots you look at and you're like, nah, that was, there's something wrong with that shot right there. I never seen a basketball do that in my life. And again, you guys, I don't know why it's so hard to fathom that this is going on. Do they let you take these balls home? Nope. No, they sure don't. Is there a whole bunch of shit hooked up to that hoop that looks like electricity could be flowing through it? Absolutely. Why don't they just have a simpler hoop out there? You know, well, look at these hoops at these college and professional games. There's a lot to the architecture of the base of that and everything. What's going on in that? Looks like there's quite the system going on in that hoop. It's just so obvious, you guys, especially if you play these games. But yeah, last week I was going to tell you about St. Peter's in 15. I think I talked about it on my Patreon, but we had St. Peter's beating Murray State. It was an easy call, and then we had St. Peter's winning again tonight. And I got to admit though, I missed it. I missed the Kentucky game, and I feel really stupid about that. I forgot it was St. Patrick's Day. And there wasn't a number riddle for St. Peter's in the opening game, but it's just St. Peter's on St. Patrick's Day, Jesuit Catholic rituals all day. And yeah, that was my biggest miss of the tournament. But it's been a great tournament, and you know, I don't think we've had a bad year of March Madness. I mean, there's plenty of years where I missed the championship, but still, we nail so many upsets. I mean, you can make the best place to make your money in the tournament's in the opening round. So you can make some killer money off parlays in the opening round of the Rig March Madness. But here, I'm gonna put the challenge out there again. You got to get your request in the next 5 minutes to get it going. If nobody does it in the next 5 minutes, I'm just gonna say scratch it. But again, it's just amazing how when I finish these videos, how active the trolls are in the post, talking shit. And again, I get tired of all the dummies who are saying, I don't see you posting anything before the games. It's like, are all of you guys retarded? I say in every video, not to mention it's linked in the description of every video, sign up for Patreon for the picks. Like, is there like some part of this that you're not getting? Patreon is where the picks are. I don't put out free picks anymore. I did it for 5 years on this platform for free and helped a lot of people win a lot of money. And it's why I have the successful Patreon that I do. Because when I finally decided to charge a little bit for my work, a lot of people signed up. You know, they felt like it was a way to give back. For all of you guys who haven't signed up and continue to sit here and leave comments like, I don't see you talking about anything until after the games. It's just like, God, these people are fucking retarded, man. And honestly, this is who the invite is. For all of you fucking retards out there, which seems to be the majority of you based on the comments I read, here's your chance to get on the show. And you know, even though I think you're fucking retarded and worthless, I'm going to let you get on here and talk. Mostly just to humor me. But I will let you talk for a little bit before I put you in your place. So if you want to come on here and talk some shit and prove that you're not some just little fruitcake fairy who can only live down as a troll in the comment section when nobody can talk back to you, you know, if you want to prove that you're more than that, here's how you get on the show right now. GematriaEffectSports@gmail.com. GematriaEffectSports, not news. GematriaEffectSports@gmail.com. Send an email and just in the title, just put invite. Invite. That's all you need to put. You don't even need to write anything in the body of the post. I'm going to give it 5 minutes. If I don't see anybody in 5 minutes, I'm just going to go spend the rest of the night with Sweet Lady and say congrats to the winners. But I just want you guys who are so active, just talking so much shit, just writing all this bullshit. I want you to get on here so I can just see, you know, like, who are these people? I mean, why are you guys always around here talking shit? I mean, it's just fucking pathetic. Come on here and show me you got a pair of balls. I don't think you do. I don't think any of you have a pair of balls. I want somebody to come on here and tell me tonight that sports aren't rigged. I want somebody to come on here tonight and tell me that everything I just said is crazy so I can laugh at you. Laugh at how fucking stupid you are. You know? Oh my God. Let's see. Does anybody have any balls out there? GematriaEffectSports@gmail.com. Who's got a pair of balls? A lot of big talking idiots. Seemingly no balls. Prove me wrong. Hold on. Let me open up my email here. See if anybody's sending away. Who's the first guy that's got a pair of balls? Let's see. Well, so far, nobody. What do you know? So far, nobody. Last email. YouTube, a copyright claim was created for content in Jesuit St. Peter's Peacocks win on Peacock Day. All right, we got one. Bill Badboy. All right, so Bill Badboy, you're about to get an invite, and it will be showing up in your email in just a moment. Hold on here. I got to fix one thing. What's that about? Okay, so we got our first guy on here, Bill Badboy. It's perfect that he's got the B's in his name because he's got a pair of balls too. Okay, he's the only guy. He's the only guy to a request so far, but the invite is sent, Bill. So, Bill, you should get an email. You just click the link in your email, and that should put you in the show. So, yeah, just click that link. It says StreamYard.com, blah, 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 blah. Just click that link, and you'll be a part of the show. And if anybody else wants to come on and debate with Bill Badboy, you want to help out his case, again, I can have multiple people on here at a time. I can have up to 10 people on this thing. So, Let's see. We'll interact with the chat while we wait to see who else has a pair. So far, Bill hasn't joined the room yet. His invite is sent, but he has not joined the room. People in the chat are posting, like Charmed One's posting the email if you need it again. She's posting it right there. You can just copy and paste her comment. Let me see if we got anybody else who signed up. I'm waiting for Bill to get in here. He's not here yet, but he should be here shortly. So far, he's the only one who wants a piece. Bill's the only one. There's always 1,000 trolls, but none of them have any balls. Only Bill. Okay, we're still waiting for Bill. He's not here. Here, just to show you more stuff about how stupid the whole Russia thing is. You know how I was telling you about how Alec Baldwin killed the Ukrainian woman 201 days after his birth? I doubt he killed anybody, first of all. She's probably alive and well. But just 201, right? The military conflict started in the Donbass region. That's where the military operation began in Ukraine by Russia, the Donbass region, which of course is 201. And a number I've educated about a million different ways. You know, I can talk about a million different things in 201, literally. Biggest number of the Jesuits. That's why the name of the coronavirus simulation right before they happened was at Event 201. The other night, they bring back up Lorenzen Wright, his murderer, found guilty of first-degree murder of Lorenzen Wright. Well, when did Lorenzen Wright die? Oh, he just happened to die 201 days after LeBron James' birthday, his last teammate in the NBA. The pinnacle point of the NBA. Same guy who was born. Again, LeBron was born 201 days after the 1984 NBA Finals. Jesuit Order 20184. You guys watch the new HBO show about Magic Johnson? The show starts on November 5th. The day leaving 56 days left in the year. Supposedly the day Magic Johnson found out he had HIV. The day leaving 56 days, and from there it goes back to 1979. Shows Jerry Buss in the Playboy Mansion. And remember what day Hugh Hefner died? Hugh Hefner died on the day the Jesuits were recognized by Roman history, September 27th, right before the Route 91 Harvest Festival shooting on the day leaving 91 days left in the year. And if I put a "the" in front of Society of Jesus, it becomes 91. The show begins in 91 on the day leaving 56 days left in the year, then goes back to 79 and doesn't show what day it is in 1979. Just supposedly Jerry Buss smashing out all the ladies in the Playboy Mansion. But, and again, who's making this show? HBO, total Jesuit operation, HBO 56, like Society of Jesus, home box office, 54 and 72, like Jesuit Order, RIP to Omar from The Wire. Dead in a big 54, 56 ritual. But let's see if our man stepped into the room, Bill. Bill is here. Bill, it says your devices are not connected. So if I add you to the room, you don't have to, if you don't want to put your face on the screen, that's fine, but you need to connect a mic. So Bill has entered the room. He wants to be here. It's just he doesn't have a mic connected or a camera. So we will not be able to see or hear Bill. Yeah, it doesn't even let me add you to the thing right now, Bill, until you have at least a mic connected. So enable your mic, and if you want to put your face out here, you're more than welcome to. Oh, he disconnected. Well, okay, a guy with a troll account named Young Pharaoh who says, invite me on Greenblatt. Okay, this guy's an obvious troll. But again, just to show the quality of my trolls, we'll let this guy on here. The guy who's using the Young Pharaoh name and accusing me of being Greenblatt. But invite sent, troll. Come on and humiliate yourself. I'll give you your few minutes. So, unfortunately, we lost Bill, you guys. Bill dropped out. He didn't have and this might be the intelligence level of my trolls, you guys. I mean, Bill might be a good example of my trolls. Not even smart enough to connect with a mic. How do you think you were going to talk to anybody? Again, I know that all of my critics are short bus riders with really tiny IQs, because I mean that's the only way I could have a critic. You have to be fucking retarded. And again, to sign up and not even have a mic. I mean, come on, come on. The guy the latest guy who signed up, titled Zach Greenblatt, he does not have a mic or the troll who just signed in. You got didn't you just hear from the last guy? You also don't have a mic or a camera? Oh my god. You know who just here. You know who just did call in. Who here? Let's hear from Itachi for a minute.
Hey Zach, while the trolls look for their courage and try and find a pair of balls, I just want to share this interesting riddle with you.
Okay.
If you look at when the Disney movie Cinderella was remade, I texted you this. If you just want to Google that right now, yeah, Disney Cinderella movie. It came out March 27th, 2015. That was exactly 83 months ago.
Exactly 83. And again, Cinderella equals 83. And this is one of the greatest Cinderella stories there ever was. And did Disney make that film?
Yes.
And perfect, because Disney is De Molay, which is Knights Templar, and the Templar cross and the Jesuit logo. Again, it just shows that this is all one big contrived circus. You know what I haven't looked into is who was making that Rust movie. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a company owned by Disney. So, and not to mention Disney owns ESPN, and I really think ESPN is one of the main writers for the sports scripts at this point. Is on
the
point.
Biggest media company in the world.
Yeah.
Media company in the world. I worked a year in China, in Shanghai, and Disney raises these people's kids. Disney's God over there. All the kids, they dress as, Elsa, all these Disney characters. I mean, they give their kids, they name them after Disney characters. It's really their God over there.
Just to remind people, Walt Disney's full name, Walter Elias Disney's 201 and 258 and 105, like Order of Illuminati. And him and his brother are born 201 days apart. And if you want to go to Disney World in Florida, it's off exit 201. And I forget whatever the real title is at Disney World, it's also 201.
Yeah, Walt Disney World is 201. And I moved to around Tampa, Florida. In St. Petersburg, there's a club 201. I told you that. But yeah, just, in your face. So
I got to look this up. So the remake of the Cinderella movie, huh?
Yeah, Cinderella movie 2015. And then if you want to put into the date calculator. And how about it being National Peacock Day today, man? I mean,
hold on. There was another Cinderella movie that Amazon put out last year on 9/3. But hold on, it's 2015.
Yes.
Oh, I see it. American film, 2015. Okay. So here we go. So you're saying it looks like, it came out on February 13th, the day of this, March 13th in the US. That's the March 13th, the day they put out the bracket on.
Interesting. Okay. So I see March in the United Kingdom. If you just go straight Google from the iPhone.
Okay.
It says March 27th, United Kingdom. Yeah.
So did you measure from that date, the United Kingdom date?
I got the information from a guy who's very into, the date durations. That is interesting though, that so it's March 13th in the US, but March 27th. And that's the date that, he sent me. If you probably, search from certain ways, it tells you March 27th or not. But
oh, hold on. I'm putting on the wrong, I did the wrong thing here. Okay, so it looks like from the United Kingdom release date to the ritual is 83 months and days later. So that is interesting. It's exactly 365 weeks, like the days in a year. Yeah, it's probably not an accident. But again, Cinderella's 83, one of the greatest Cinderella stories. It's the 83rd tournament. And again, it's the magical world of Disney that raised everybody from cradle to the grave, just like the church. So
exactly. And I just want to leave with this one quick example of how it's undeniable how it's the Jesuit order. You see the UCLA coach, his birthday.
How about hold on. How about who's the winningest coach in college basketball history?
John Wooden.
And what's his name equal?
201-84.
His name has all the Jesuit numbers and all four ciphers.
It's crazy. Today's the 84th day of the year. The UCLA coach, I like UCLA, but the UCLA coach, he has 200 losses, 433 wins. That's the 84th prime number. And he's born 17/7. So it's like, regardless of the outcome, just the way it's a line like this, proves your point, proves who's behind it.
And you've only been here. So understand, you guys, Itachi's only been here since Kobe died. And I mean, he hasn't even witnessed most of the accomplishments. Like, I know that there's not a single person in the world who's going to disprove what I've proven for going on 9 years. But I mean, Itachi's only needed to be here for 2 years, and he's already figured it out, and he's patting his pockets, and he's already become a great decoder. Any of you guys could have done this. I've had people trolling me for 9 years who are still here talking shit. And it's like, what the fuck's wrong with these people? Had they been like Itachi, they'd be way ahead in this world and not sitting here like bitter, jealous haters. But ultimately, I think the difference between people like that and Itachi is intelligence. Like dumb, worthless losers that's all they can do is hate and talk shit. They don't have any other thing to offer. Where somebody with a brain can be like, wow, okay, there's delis going on here. Let me apply my knowledge to this, see what I can do. So.
I agree on that. I'll leave you with this, Zach. I mean, it's actually a mental illness to stay around your work for that long and just troll it and not be able to profit. It's like you have to be just the biggest retard. It's like I've never been able to turn, $80 into $3,000, $20 into $900, and that's off, your knowledge of 35s, just the patterns you teach, and just putting a small amount to win a big amount. And, I got to thank you for that, man. It's
what do you think about all the people who say I'm greedy? Well, what do you think about all the people who say I'm greedy for charging $5 a month for some of the content?
I honestly think they're jealous and they want to take people away from your movement because they probably put more time into the sports and they focus more on that. But you don't care about the sports that much. Like you want to wake people up to the bigger picture. They're greedy that so many people gravitate to yours and you don't dedicate all this time to the sports like they do. So they say that. But I mean, you haven't raised the price from $5. So they're just stupid. They're arguing that all these people are on your thing and it's $5. It's like, okay, that proves Zach's value, that all these people are on it, $5
is a rock bottom price for the knowledge that I've been putting out. That's all I got to say. So,
but they don't complain when they spend $10 at the McDonald's drive-through, man. It's sad, man. I know. I appreciate you doing this, but people use your knowledge.
Hold on, as you so hold on. I don't know if it's the real guy, but the guy has apparently fixed his mic and he's ready to go, and he's changed his name to Sports Gematria. So maybe it's my most dedicated troll, or I don't know if he's claiming to be Sports Gematria. But here, I'm gonna let the trolls on Itachi. Congrats on the wins. Again, you guys, Itachi's a great example. You can do what Itachi does. You can do what I do. Just stop denying the truth and open yourself up to what's really going on. Have a good night, man. Appreciate you.
You too. See you.
All right, yeah, take care. And shout out to Mr. Futures in the chat. I see Victor's out there. Victor's a great student. He's got a Patreon. He's helping his people win. And here, I'm going to put these trolls on. All right, Bill, I'm going to apologize to Bill. I said Bill was a dumbass, but it looks like he figured out how to Bill, you're on, and you figured out how to get your mic working. So you're on. Thanks for joining. And
took a little time, but
hold on, Bill. 1 second, real quick. 1 second, Bill. Sports Gematria, if that is him, I'm going to put you on next. I don't know if it's really you or not, but Bill first, since he got here first. Bill, thanks for having the balls to call in tonight, and I'm just going to let you talk.
Yeah, man.
Peace out.
Oh, I'm very interested in what's going on. I'm kind of lost in the sauce. Never heard of this stuff before. So are you trying to say that like all college basketball and all the March Madness is just fake, like Doug, like all this whole, St. Peter?
It's rigged and scripted. The outcome's predetermined. That's what I'm saying. Does it mean every guy on the court's in on it? I don't think every guy on the court's in on it. Absolutely not. Are the coaches and the refs in on it? Yes. Are some key players on the team in on it? Hell yeah. It's obvious as everything. Did you see Arizona's star player last night? Did he look like a star player? And they set up these rituals. Did you see that the Arizona player was getting shamed for touching the boob of the TCU player at the end of the game?
Yeah, I did see that.
See, that's how they set this stuff up. First, they make the villain for the game. It's like a Disney movie, just like the last caller was saying. They got this synced up with the Disney Cinderella movie. This is what they do time and time again. When we just had the biggest upset ever in the horse race the other year, what movie came out the day before that? American Underdog, and then the biggest underdog ever wins. They do this stuff in all the sports. We're winning in horse racing, college sports, pro sports by understanding it's scripted. Go ahead.
So is there anything real to you? Like, what is not? Like, what
Say
is
that
there
again.
anything out there that's like legitimate?
Is there anything out there that's legitimate? Like what?
Yeah,
What do you mean? Like in the sports world, is there legitimate competition?
yeah, like the professional level.
I don't, if there's a professional sport out there that you can't gamble on, it's probably legitimate. But I'm telling you, anything you can gamble on, the reason the casino always wins is because they got the games fixed, man. And that's why gamblers can't win, because they're gamblers are going out there thinking the games are real and they're betting with logic. People are thinking, how's Kentucky ever going to lose to St. Petersburg? I know this game's not paying shit, but that's a team of midgets. They're never going to lose. And then they bet way more than they should have bet. And then they lost a fortune trying to make a small sum on what seemed like Lock City.
Are they that small though?
St. Peter's?
Yeah, I think
Did you
Doug
look at them tonight?
There's some
I had to
6'7"
pull out my
guys out there.
magnifying glass, man. I had to pull out my magnifying glass to find
There's some
the St.
6'7"
Peter's.
cats on there. I mean, I'm not denying you. I'm just saying we don't have to come at the man's height.
Come on, man. Are you seriously telling me that St. Peter's team isn't small?
I'm just saying, like they showed some heart, man. Like you got, even if you think it's rigged, I mean, shit.
Let me ask you this: Are you an athlete? Did you grow up playing sports?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, you play basketball?
I played a little bit of basketball growing up. Yeah, played lacrosse and football mainly.
Did you ever run into a situation where you came up against a team and you wondered like what neighborhood they were from, what was in their water, because they were like a team of giants, and you got your ass handed to you like you've never had it handed to you before?
Not really, no.
Well, it happens, and then you realize like
We went to
basketball
quite
is a big man's
school
game.
growing up, so I didn't have that. Have that happen, but
basketball is a big man's game, and that St. Peter's team is itty bitty by basketball standards. And Kentucky, on the other hand, is a big team full of NBA prospects who are going to be in the league. St. Peter's isn't sending anybody to the league.
Yeah, you would say though, like D2, D3, that's legitimate.
If there's not gambling on the game, that's where the corruption comes. When the gambling is on the game and there's money on the game and the casinos are involved, it's not legitimate anymore. It's fixed.
And then where is this, like all this is correlating with, like I see you bring the numbers up with Putin and the war in Ukraine and all that. What are you getting at with this?
Well, I understand you're new here, so this is a lot. But
I'm just kind of lost, man.
What I've been educating about for years is everything is rigged and scripted together. The news is planned and rigged and scripted. This thing in Ukraine, Russia didn't just break out because all of a sudden Vladimir Putin had a bad hair day or something. All of this shit is planned long in advance. Have you heard the phrase? How long
would you say?
Decades. Probably longer than you and I have been on the earth. Probably longer than Vladimir Putin's been alive.
For what? What purpose do you believe?
For world domination and world control. Did you hear what I was saying about the letters about 3 world wars being written on August 15th, 1871.
What, and then what who do you think is in charge of this? Like Illuminati, correct?
The Jesuits. The Illuminati is the Jesuits.
And then
the Illuminati was created by the Jesuits.
What do they get from world domination if it's
controlling people? Controlling people. There's a class of people who don't work at all. All they do is live off the labor and the consumption of everybody that's pretty much being living and used by this system. There's a ruling class of people. There's a ruling cabal. I mean, you have to look at history, people. You have to look at what happened with the Protestant Reformation in Europe. The whole reason this country exists is because of the Protestant Reformation. People were trying to, if you don't know this, the Catholic Church used to rule Europe. In Gematria, Catholic equals Jesuitism equals Holy See equals Europe. And that number happens to be 35, which is the number of the eye in the sun. And that's why Christmas Day is 1225.
Who discovered the numbers and all this? Like, where are these numbers coming from?
Kabbalah.
I understand it's a codex,
Kabbalah.
Oh, okay.
Kabbalah is where it all comes from. Kabbalah's Book of Formation. The first page says God created the world with letters, numbers, and words. The Jesuit order is a merger of the Catholics and the Jews because the Protestant Reformation was against Catholicism and Judaism. Martin Luther was trying to clear Judaism and Catholicism out from Europe. He thought they were cancers on society. That brought the merger of the Catholics and the Jews. And that's why they say Hitler was touting around Martin Luther's The Jews and Their Lies during World War II. Again, Martin Luther was from Germany. Hitler ended up in Germany, coming from Austria. But anyway, all of this stuff is lost history. The Catholic Church is what caused people to flee from that continent because they were sick of living under their rule and being taxed and abused. and they wanted to get away from it all. And the Catholic Church, I mean, the history is that supposedly we escaped all that, but that's the bullshit history. We never escaped any of it. They just came over here and set their empire up over here and have been controlling from the shadows the whole time.
Yeah,
that's why Washington, D.C. is all Roman architecture. That's why the oldest Jesuit university in the nation's there. That's why the Roman fasces are on the wall of the House of Representatives. This whole nation's controlled by Rome. And that's what people need to wake up to. Everyone should get it, man. Supposedly the nation was founded on the right to not have to pay taxes on your income. We're all paying taxes on our income up the ass. Why do we go along with all this bullshit? Who's profiting and benefiting from all this? Again, the people who rule over us. We're essentially all their slaves and their cattle, and they keep us pacified with the sports games. But listen, I don't know how old you are. I was 18 when 9/11 happened. And that's just when I put it all together. I said, look at this bullshit. 9/11's a load of shit. This war's a load of shit. And now you're telling me the Patriots, who've never won jack shit, who've always been a bottom of the barrel football team, all of a sudden they're the greatest fucking football team in history.
Were you a Pats fan growing up?
What's that?
Were you a Pats fan growing up?
I'm from the Pacific Northwest, man. We don't even have a football team. Well, I wasn't a Seahawks fan. I guess the Seahawks are the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, I was going to say.
But the Seahawks sucked when I was growing up. Nobody was a Seahawks fan growing up because they were a trash football team too, just like the Patriots. And But again, it was just a joke. It was a joke to watch what happened after 9/11. The Patriots go through the playoffs. Everybody who was alive remembers when Tom Brady fumbled the ball against the Raiders and the game was over and the Raiders should have been on to the next round. But then, here comes the Zebras to make up some bullshit-ass call for why it's not a fumble.
Exactly.
It's just, I mean, sports are a joke. It's not to say that the athleticism's not real. It's not to say it's not entertaining, that there's not talent out there. Absolutely. Again, for people to say, well, if the games are rigged, why do these guys work so hard? If it's all sports theater, you still got to fulfill the part. You got to be athletic enough. You got to look good enough. You got to jump high enough, throw hard enough.
How could they have kept it this tight, though? You know what I'm saying? Like I mean, if you played at a high level, or do you have any buddies who played pro or anything like that? Like
the best athlete, I grew up with two really good athletes who made it pro. I grew up with Michael Roos, who ended up playing left tackle for the Titans for a decade, and on that same basketball team was Derek Ravio, who went and played professionally in Europe. He used to be on Gonzaga. If you ever saw back in the day, it's probably 15 years ago now, they had Gonzaga versus North Carolina in Madison Square Garden. Ravio, man, that dude could shoot the lights out. His dad was a former Laker, but the story with his dad is that he dropped a chainsaw on his leg. But Ravio could shoot. This kid always had two basketballs in his hand. He always walked around with two basketballs in his hand. He lived and breathed basketball. I mean, total stud. He went and played professionally in Europe after he was done at Gonzaga. He should have been in the league, man. Honestly, he's better than a bunch of these scrubs in the NBA. He can shoot better than almost anybody, but he went and played in Europe. So yeah, I've been around some professional athletes, and again, I haven't talked to these guys since my high school days, but I would love to have a conversation with them.
That's what I mean. What are their thoughts of it? I mean, I could definitely see like at the high level, but even like lower tier NBA games, like, I mean, no one's really betting on some of these shitty games, dude. Let them play out. You know,
people are betting on the games though, man. And
yeah.
again,
I can see the NBA finals definitely be.
This is the thing. You don't realize how scripted these games are until you realize like the mega rituals that come around every so often. And that's when you realize, like, yeah, it seemed like LeBron gets hurt on his 34th game with the Lakers, and injury equals 34. And I think he was 34 years old at the time. And then he misses all these games on this little dinky injury. And it's like, come on, man, he can't really be out for all this time from that little dinky injury. But then you realize when they have him come back, the ritual of him coming back, the day he's coming back, by having the knowledge that I'm talking about, you understand what's really going on, and you see how scripted and all a big joke it is. If it wasn't all a big joke, there's no way an owner of a team who plays a guy, 30, 40, 50 million a year, he's going to let him sit out half the season with some fake injury. But it should remind you that all these teams share profits. It's all part of a big story. It's all part of a big script. And when it gets down to it, you start to recognize that everything that's going on is ritual. By the way, man, I thought you were coming on here to talk shit, and I wouldn't mind if you did, but I do appreciate that you're a new person asking questions. No, it's okay. I appreciate that you're a new person asking questions, because
you think St. Peter's finishes this out though? Greatest upset of all time for the 15s?
I haven't even looked at the next round yet. I got it. That's what I'll be doing tonight, is decoding the Elite Eight, and then on my Patreon tomorrow morning we'll be talking about the Elite Eight. But I mean, this is a long run already for St. Peter's. Their only prayer to keep it going, like if somehow they ended up in the championship, all I could say about that, they're the only Jesuit school left in the tournament. 1985 was the first ever March Madness. The Catholic school Villanova beat the Jesuit school Georgetown. They're the only hope of creating a 1985 repeat. If somehow it ended up being Villanova St. Peter's, which doesn't sound right at all. I mean, that's the only thing I could see that they're doing. Again, their coach, Shaheen Holloway, is born on the day, leaving 85 days left in the year.
Hey, if that plays out, man.
Well, that would be a monster payout. But I haven't seen if St. Peter's is going to go any further than this. I have to do the homework because I can't just. What I do takes work. I have to go through and look at the numbers and look at the dates and look at history and try to get all the clues because that's what it is. This is detective work. You have to do the detective work to solve the riddle. And it's just like if you're a detective and you have clues out there and you take the clues you have and you come to a conclusion and you're wrong, it's because you didn't have enough clues. You didn't have the right clues. And, historically, we've done very good and dominated the world of rig sports and called more. See, you're new here, so you don't know. But, for people who've been around, they know that the record of calling futures for college and pro and all these sports is monumental. And we've just built on it year after year. But, again, I don't always get it right. And it's because sometimes I was missing the most important clue. This year's Super Bowl. Like, think about this. You've seen Ukraine's flag, right? Gold and blue. You've seen that gold and blue Ukraine flag in the news a lot lately. This year, the Rams won the Super Bowl right before. Did you realize that Sean McVay, the coach of the Rams, his fiancée is from Ukraine?
Wow. That's the gold and blue too.
Exactly. They have the same color scheme as the they have the same color scheme as Ukraine and his fiancée. Now here's what else is messed up. In Gematria, Ukraine equals 34. Matt Stafford became the 34th quarterback to win a Super Bowl at age 34. So that's one of the coincidences. And then you got Sean McVay with the Ukrainian fiancé and all this right before the Super Bowl. Or right before the whole war pops off, just days before. So.
Man, well, I don't want to take too much more of your time, man. I appreciate it. So I'll be riding along, keep staying woke, waking up a little bit, and keeping my head on a swivel out here for some picks.
All right, Bill. Well, I appreciate you coming on. I thought you were coming on to talk some trash. I
feel bad now, man. I got the shit talk a little bit. Man, you're crazy, bro. How you go? Hey, everyone is though. We all are. Right. Ain't no one knows nothing.
Yeah,
I appreciate you, man.
That's what I was honestly hoping for. But you know what? I am glad you came on and asked questions, and thanks for doing that, Bill. And if you come on again, just remember to have your mic hooked up. So,
yes, sir.
All right, man. Take care. All right, he dropped off. And the guy who was on his Sports Gematria, he also dropped out. If that was really you, Sports Gematria, you should come back on here. You should come back on here. Oh, hold on. We got a new guy who wants to debate, though. This guy says, I want to debate. Okay. Let's see if we got a debate. Hold on. I got to invite him. For the guy who emailed and said he wanted to debate, I'm about to send you the invite. Hold on. I just got to copy the invite link. Okay, Tony. Tony wants to debate. Tony, your link is sent. Tony Sr. Another gentleman wants to come on. He says he's got something to say to the trolls. Hold on. So whoever gets on first gets to talk. And my mom just texted me and said my nephew wants to start getting on my Patreon so he can know what's happening before it happens. My nephew goes to Gonzaga, and he's a huge Gonzaga basketball fan. And rightfully so. He goes to the school, right? That's having that school spirit. But I don't know if my mom's trying to get him to listen to what I'm talking about. And honestly, I haven't been trying to get him to listen to what I'm talking about because his mom is very opposed to what I do. And I don't want to start a rift with him and his mom. But all right, we got Tony. All right, Tony, I'm going to give you the floor. I appreciate that you're putting your face out there and you're coming on to debate. Welcome to the show, Tony.
Hey, what's going on? What's going on?
What's up, man? I'm going to try not to talk. I'm just going to let you speak. And then when you're ready for me to respond, I'll assume you'll give me some kind of indicator.
All right. First of all, I appreciate you having me on your show. My son, Deontay Branch, his dad is Deion Branch, MVP, Super Bowl. All right.
Okay.
It's my stepson. Okay. Me and him, you know what I'm saying? We do a lot of, we gamble a lot. You understand what I'm saying? That's what we do. We gamble on sports. And he showed me your show. And I listened to you and you made a lot of sense. But you can say that it's rigged, but it's just fake. It's how they want it to be. And if you figure that out, you can say it's rigged in your favor. You understand what I'm saying? Like, if you know this, you know what I'm saying, that means you're winning. You know what I'm saying? So I, like, personally myself, I don't care if it's rigged or not. I don't care who gets paid. I don't care about none of that. As long as I can figure that out and I can make money, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you can call it what you want. But like I said, the numbers, the world and the universe is ruled by numbers. That's if you know anything, if you have any type of smarts, you know the world is ruled by numbers. You understand what I'm saying? And some of these, like you said, these rituals and things, and like I told my son, I said, the U of L, mark my words, U of L women's basketball, their best player trained with Kobe and Gigi. They will win the national championship here. Mark my word. Just behind that.
Okay.
But I understand fully what you're saying and the numbers and all this, but it's like, if you figure it out, like I said, you could say it's rigged, but that's cool if you figure it out and you can win behind it. You understand what I'm saying? Like I know, like I told my son before you said it, I said the refs and the coaches, yeah, they're in the pockets. I told him earlier. I said Bill Self had money on that game. I don't mean to call out no names, but when they were playing Providence and there was like 2 or 3 missed calls, bro. And I'm like, come on, man, stop it. They didn't even blow the whistle. And it's an obvious foul. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, they getting paid, bro. And anybody that bet sports know that the big wigs, they're not gonna lose more than they, you know what I'm saying? They're not gonna lose more. They're gonna win more because they have everybody they're in everybody's pockets. You understand what I'm saying? But we know it. Yeah, it's rigged, but it's rigged for the people. If you understand that shit, you can get paid off of it. You understand what I'm saying? And it comes back over and over and over again. The same things you talk about, the same things that happen, it happens over and over. Like when will people understand? Like, bruh, if you figure it out and you know it, you can eat. You know what I'm saying? That's like it's crazy, bro. Like you said, like the Peacocks on National Peacock Day. Come on, man.
And it started on St. Patrick's Day. Another
right. They won on St. Patrick's Day. Then they come back on St. And I seen it earlier. I swear, my car's in the body shop, bro. And I seen it earlier. They said today is National Peacock's Day. I wanted to ride because you can't bet in Kentucky. We have to ride to Indiana. So if I had to have my truck, I wouldn't want to put $1,000 on them today. I got them on a parlay. I hit a parlay. I took Providence. I took St. Peter's. I took who else won?
What made you take Providence? What made you take Providence? See, a sign for me with Kansas is the only team so far in the tournament to win a game with 83 points. To me, that's a big clue that they're the only team to win with 83 in the 83rd tournament. They're the only one seed left.
I'm gonna tell you why I took Providence. I go with coaches because I've coached AAU ball. Okay, I've got two championships. You understand what I'm saying? And one of my sons is a 1,000-point scorer, high school ball. My other stepson, Dion's son, you understand what I'm saying? He's a beast. He's probably gonna play for U of L next year. Watch for him. My cousin Tronny Beckham played for the 2012 championship team. His knee was messed up for Kentucky. So, you know what I'm saying? I've been around this basketball for a while and I've bet on it for a long time. And it just plays itself out. And it doesn't, to a regular person, it doesn't make sense. But to somebody like you or somebody like me that's really hip to the numbers and stuff, you know what it's going to do. Like it's like it happens time and time again. Like it doesn't surprise you.
Right.
You know
Well, I got to ask a question though, Tony. Your email said you wanted to debate me. It doesn't really sound like you're debating with me. It sounds like you're more or less agreeing with me.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you. What I was debating is the fact that, you know what I'm saying, that you're saying like it's rigged, which is people are paid, like the coaches and stuff like that, and it's rigged to a certain extent. But these players, like they might have one player that's in it, you understand what I'm saying? But this still takes a team. You understand? But when it comes to certain games, certain things, like the Duke North Carolina game, championship game, I know Coach K and the refs was paid. There's no way North Carolina beats them people like that. There's no way. I lost money on the game. I said, there's no way. This is his last game. Everybody in the world took Duke that day.
You know what happened with North Carolina that day, though? Same riddle I put you guys on, the same riddle I talked to you guys about weeks before. I told you why the Bulls were going to win 4 straight home games leading up to Jordan's birthday, because the Bulls were going to become 23-8 at home by winning those 4 straight home games. They were 19-8. They win 4 straight. They're 23-8 at home. On the eve of Jordan's birthday, Michael Jordan equals 238. And then what does North Carolina do when they beat Coach K? They become 23-8 for the season. Michael Jordan, 238. Doing big rituals with James Harden this year, born on the 238th day of the year. Kobe, born on 23/8. Again, these numbers are a language to these people. That number, for people wonder what 238 represents, it represents the all-seeing eye. And again, you think about Jordan and Kobe, and even Harden to a lesser extent. He's not Jordan or Kobe, but he's a big star in the world. He's got the focus in all sorts of people's mind's eye. That's what it's all about. That's why these numbers are assigned to these big stars.
Yeah. But not basically, I don't like, you know what I'm saying? Debate may have been the wrong word, but really I want to solidify what you said, but to the point of, if we figure it out, is it working for you? You understand what I'm saying? Like, it can work for you in your favor if you just, you know what I'm saying, look at it and see it, because it's in plain sight and it happens repeatedly. You know what I'm saying? The same thing, like a Cinderella or this and that, or this team comes back from down. You know what I'm saying? It happens repeatedly. So people should understand that. You know what I'm saying? So you should be able to capitalize off that, you know.
Now, here, I got a question for you. I got a question for you. As someone who's around athletes and professional and collegiate athletes, right? Here's one of, like, I feel bad that we take advantage of news stories like this, because I always feel like it's sad. Like this year, I said in the opening round, I said the 9 seeds in the South and the West are winning. Memphis and TCU are both winning, and I like New Mexico State as a 12 seed over UConn, a 5 seed. And why did I like those 3 teams? I mean, we picked a lot of teams, but those were 3 of the teams that I definitely liked in the opening round, based on one news story. A college bus with 9 people crashing and dying, supposedly, in Texas State from New Mexico, from the University of the Southwest. So I said, okay, Southwest. That news story comes out the day before the tournament. And sure enough, all 3 of those teams that have the connection to the story win. And this stuff goes on every year, too. Suspicious deaths connected to the tournament. What's your take on what's really going on there? Do you think 9 people really died from the University of the Southwest? Were they some kind of ritual sacrifice? Is the whole story made up? What's going on right there?
The thing about it, like, some things that are out there, if you're not there, like we're not there, we can't really confirm. So I don't know, but I read the story, and did you know they said a 13-year-old was driving the truck that killed him?
At first it was a 38-year-old, and then day 2 it was a 13-year-old.
13-year-old. The 38-year-old was letting the 13-year-old drive.
That's how the story changed on day 2.
Yeah, so it's like stuff like that. You can speculate and everything, bro. It's crazy the way it happens, and then when you put the numbers together like that, it just makes sense. But for normal people to fathom that this type of thing has happened, sacrifices and stuff like that, it's extremely hard to believe. You understand what I'm saying? It's extremely hard to believe that people are actually losing their lives and these things are happening because people in power are creating this. You understand what I'm saying? It's far-fetched. It's extremely far-fetched.
Here, let me ask you this. When you were
you're gonna have people that are gonna be like, nah, it's bullshit, what you're saying and all that, But in reality, like I said, if it happens repeatedly, like we can watch the tournament every year, we can watch the Super Bowl, we can watch sports all year, and the same scenarios repeat themselves, you know what I'm saying, at certain times.
Indeed.
And all you got to do is just be aware of it. You know what I'm saying? Like immediately, if you're into what you're talking about, if you're into numbers and you're into things, when they said today is National Peacock Day, if you didn't go and put your house on the Peacocks.
Well, I don't know if it's good to bet your house, but I agree. I mean, but you better bet on the Peacock on Peacock Day.
Come on, man. Come on. It's even for novelty purposes. I took them because it's National Peacock Day. Put a little money on them. You understand what I'm saying? That it shows itself in plain sight, but people that are oblivious to the signs and can't see and don't have their eyes open, you understand what I'm saying, will miss it and will also, you know what I'm saying, go against it because they can't really see it, but it plays itself out all the time. Like it's every day.
Hey, Tony, I really appreciate you getting on here and chiming in. There's a few more people that want to hop on, so I'm gonna let some more people get on. But do you have any closing words?
Man, look, keep doing what you're doing. I'm gonna start watching more because like I said, my son put me on you, bro. So I love numbers and I love making money.
Indeed.
That's my son, right? He said he's a big fan, bro.
Shout out to your son. I appreciate you getting your dad onto it. Thank you.
All right, bro. You be good, man. Appreciate you.
All right. Yeah. You have a good night, man. Both of you.
All
Take
right.
care.
All right.
All right, we got our next guest wants to step up. He's got a message for the trolls. By the way, shout out to NT Dreamer. Please don't donate anymore, man. 2 big donations in one night. I appreciate it. Hope you won a lot on St. Peter's. DK Stonewood, what's up, man?
Hey, how you doing today?
Hey, what's up?
I gotta make this quick because I got sweet lady number 2 over here busting my balls because we should be at the gym already. I'm still eating and taking bong rips. I shouldn't even be listening right now. But
You mean sweet lady number 1, by the way. That's number 1 over there. But hey, what's up, man?
well, so I just wanted you to play one little clip. It's like 8 seconds. I even wanted that guy to comment on it. But if you Google, it's called or YouTube, it's called Jordan tip-off dunk, and it's a perfect example of the commentator telling you what's going to happen before the other team totally just the guy doesn't even jump for the jump ball, and then the guy on the Bulls just literally volleyball spikes the ball into like toward half court, and Jordan picks it up and just dunks it. And then right after they go, man, it was like a play, like they told you what was going to happen, then it happened. And then so like, you know, how do you go ahead and explain that? It's totally obvious that it was such bad acting that the guy on the opposing team didn't even know what to do. He didn't even jump for the jump ball. So like, you know, one of these guys that's saying it's not all set. How do you explain something like that? Like it's just so obvious a little kid can see it. They're telling you what's going to happen before. The guys are really poor actors because they're athletes. They're not, you know, Brad Pitt or Tom Cruise, so they don't know how to make it look right. And you know, when it's so obvious like that. As far as throughout the game, you got to be super skilled to make something fixed look real. That's why you got to be so good. I mean, otherwise anybody could be out there, right? I mean, I'm a former professional athlete, played in Europe, not at a level where it was fixed, but the level above, I knew a bunch of players and a bunch of people were getting envelopes on the side. You know, back in that day when I was playing, you weren't getting like, you know, you had to ask the team manager at the end of the week for your paycheck. You got it in an envelope, you know, you had to hound them for it too. Some of these, not like, you know, how it is here, everything's being reported to the IRS. Some of these small European countries, when you're playing for their professional teams, it's like owned by the dude who owns the 2 restaurants in the town where you're getting your per diem meals too. So things are, you know, on these big name stuff, like the guy was asking, anything that you could bet on, anything that's got a lot of money behind it, that's being played in ginormous stadiums and stuff, that stuff's all pretty much they're going to have their hand on all of that stuff. At my level, no. Well, maybe, but I doubt it. You know, what's the point? Everybody's looking for guys on teams that I'm playing on to put on the first Division A teams. Me playing for like 1B or Division 2, so they're looking for like guys that they're going to move up to, you know, the Manchester United top team or whatever it is, and it's fixed once you get to that level. Are you going to be in on the envelope at the end of the week? Probably not. It's probably only the main guys. So I can just say, as far as someone who's played, you know, I played professionally soccer in Europe, but before I left to do that, I was playing basketball here at a very high level and played against some of these guys who are now NBA Hall of Famers, like Paul Pierce and these guys. These guys we played against them. You know, I played against them for the YMCA league, plus in my high school. You know, we played Inglewood High School in different tournaments and stuff like that. There were guys on his high school team that were better. How he made it to the NBA and it didn't, I don't know. And that goes to show, same thing when I was playing all my travel ball too. There were guys that, you know, there were a lot of guys that made the NBA that, you know, I played maybe 1 or 2 games against or played in a tournament against, and then you see them make the NBA. Or like, whatever, I wonder whatever happened to those other 2 guys on their team that killed us for like 25 when this guy only got like 9 points and 7 rebounds. Who were those other guys? Are they NBA All-Stars? Nope, you never hear about them again. So I always wondered about that too. Why are some of these guys that get promoted, I mean, they're good. You know, Paul Pierce was 6'6" in high school, and he was way skinnier than he was in the NBA. He couldn't shoot for beans. You know, these guys are athletic slashers. So he had other guys on his team that were like a little bit more developed into their body at that time that were way more skilled than him. And, you know, he could get 5 easy free dunks just on the good play of these guys. And most of their team couldn't shoot. Like you said, they were all super athletic, tall black guys that could jump out of the gym. So they're, you put them all by themselves with no defense to shoot jump shots. They shoot like 30% wide open. So, but then you play against them, you can't get a rebound. They put on a full court press. So like you were just telling the other guy, you have to, not only do you have to be more skillful, but you have to execute a perfect game plan and everything to beat a team that you're totally, out heighted by, out athleticism by, out everything by, other than, maybe just shooting wide open jumpers and free throws. So anyway, that's all I had. That 8-second clip of the Jordan thing is probably.
I was trying to find the 8-second clip. I typed in what you said, Jordan tip-off dunk. Nothing came up that was 8 seconds. The shortest I see is about 20-some seconds.
Oh, maybe just play that one. Yeah, the one I saw was like 8 seconds because they talk about it. Like, they probably talk about it for 10 seconds before it happens in the clip you're looking at.
Okay, here, let me put it up, and maybe you can see and tell me if this is the right one. Can you see what's up on the screen yet?
Oh, I see like 10 clips are up on the screen right now, or is that just one with a bunch of lines through it?
It's one with a bunch of lines through it. I was just seeing if that's it. Here, I'll just play it real quick. Tell me if this is it.
Yeah, it does. It does look like it. Yes. Watch the other guy not even jump.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Just out. Yeah. Exactly. Remind me of the Blazers effort in
the audio before what the commentators were saying.
Oh, hold on. Let me put on the audio. Hold on. Let's play it with the audio. Here we go. Yeah, the announcer's like calling out what the play's gonna be. He saw the scripted play before it even happened.
So
it's a joke, man. And this is how old I was when I realized sports. This is how old I was when these games were going on. This is when I realized sports. Jordan was the sign for me as a child that sports are rigged. It was just so obvious everything was set up around him. It was just a joke. It was a joke. I was a little kid and I was like, look at this guy. This guy can do no wrong. He gets every call. We can't do anything. Everything's a foul on us. This guy can do whatever he wants. You can't even guard him. If you guard him, it's a foul. So
we used to set up a video. We used to set up a video camera in our backyard, that the ones that still had the big VHS tapes on it on a tripod, and we had a rim that we could lower. And me and my brother would literally have dunk contests trying to imitate the Jordan dunks. And of course. We would drive when we'd have our like neighbors around and stuff in our yard playing. We would just drive into the key and just jump up and just do absolutely anything and just be like, hey, don't even get close to me or it's a foul because I'm Jordan. You know what I mean? We were making jokes about this shit when we were kids. Like, you can't even be in the key if I take off or it's a foul, It's just...
Again, Michael Jordan came into the league with David Stern, the new commissioner, and David Stern's quote back then was the basketball or the NBA is not about basketball. It's about making stars. And I mean, that's what they've done. So.
And you talk about these guys are, you have actors that are like movie actors. They get Oscars, right? Then you have actors that are like television actors. They get Tonys. Then you have like, musician actors, they get Grammys. Then you have sports actors, they get ESPYs. That's why, you're probably right about ESPN is writing the script. That's why they're getting an award from them, I mean,
exactly.
Like, come on.
And let's,
you're already won. You're
I was
already
going
won a trophy or whatever it is. Now they got to give you another award called the Grammy or
an ESPY.
I mean, for what?
The best ESPY I saw, the best opening was they had the wrestler John Cena do the opening, whatever you want to call it, ceremony for the show. And it was the year after Super Bowl 49 when Russell Wilson lost to the Patriots by not handing off to Marshawn Lynch and throwing the interception to number 21 on his 21st pass on 2/1 on the down 2nd and 1. But John Cena opened it up with a joke about how all of sports are no different than the wrestling. They're all rigged and scripted. And then he talked about how the Seahawks screwed up the script and they should have written the script for Marshawn Lynch. And then it's like people are laughing, but it's like, this isn't really a joke. I mean, this is like exactly the truth of what he's saying right here. So
that's perfect. I'm going to go look at that. I don't even remember that one.
Yeah, and Russell Wilson, I think, got the very first award of that show, if I remember right, too. Russell Wilson comes up and shake John Cena's hand. I mean, just look at it, you guys. Russell Wilson beats the Denver Broncos in the 38th season of the Seahawks. Then he gets traded to the Denver Broncos on March 8th, 3-8, when Colorado equals 38. It's the 38th state. And not to mention, he was originally drafted by the Colorado Rockies. And His dad died the very next day after he got drafted by the Rockies, and now he's in Colorado. I mean, and let's not forget, his dad died 174 days from his birthday, and then he ends up playing 174 games for the Seahawks, and then gets traded to the Broncos 174 days after Pete Carroll's birthday. And where number of the beast equals 174, you know, Lucifer's got that 38 connection. I mean, just how all these number rituals come together. And it's obvious these people are into some evil shit. His wife, Sierra, her name equals 103. The Rockies went to the World Series in the 103rd season. He gets traded to Colorado just before the 103rd NFL season.
You know, that's really weird that you just brought up Russell Wilson kind of like out of nowhere. I don't know if this is the organic code working right now, but I was going to save this till the Sunday show. But Jordan Maxwell's real name is Russell Pine. He used to live on my friend's couch after one of his divorces, and in Tarzana, California, in the Valley. And so, you know, we still talk about, do we think he was controlled opposition or not? He's like, man, Jordan's always been the nicest dude to me and all that stuff. And, you know, man, I tried to look into his past and all that stuff. I still don't know. And this is a buddy that, you know, has made conspiracy movies, and, you know, he and I both agree Bill Cooper was probably controlled up. So, like, you know, this is a guy who's way ahead of the game, and he doesn't even know if Russell was, you know, if he's he's a Jewish guy. And then, you know, you were just talking about, you know, on the set of Rust and Russia, and then Russell Pine, you know, you call guys Russell Russ, and then Pine is short for pine cone or pine tree or evergreen. And, you know, I work down on these ships. So, you know, we have evergreen shipping, which now has changed to Everport shipping. They still have the evergreen ships that I work on all the time. I probably worked on that ship that got stuck, you know, before I just, you know, I'd have to look back in my records. Most of the newer, like the last 10 years, all the ships are named Ever something, like Ever Living, Ever Promise, Ever, you know, and this is how these companies are. Even these ship names, I don't even want to get into this right now, but even the ship names that I work on, a lot of them are occulted names and just weird shit, you know? So I don't know if that helps anyone, but yeah, I did confirm he did pass away. My buddy said he had 8 heart attacks, like within the last few days or whatever. And if you look on that, the People's Intelligence Agency.com, he did an interview. Went to go see Russell or Jordan Maxwell in Arizona, where he was living, probably like maybe it's a year old or 2 years old, the interview, but you can see he's all jacked up. He looks way worse than he looked in the stuff like he's on the YouTube stuff. So, you know, I was like, why is his name Russell Pinecone? You know, like, so I don't know. It probably totally has nothing to do with it, but it's just weird how it was all being talked about right now. And then you just brought up Russell Wilson, and Rambo brought up the evergreen.
Well,
and the
thing that's been weirding me out about Jordan Maxwell's death is he died on his 86th day of his age, 86th to get rid of. We know how that connects in gematria with blood sacrifice and human sacrifice. And he died when this NATO gathering's happening. And again, he's always been an outspoken critic of the New World Order and how it's Catholic Jesuit. That's what he's always said the same thing too, the Illuminati. It's just, I feel like what I did is I came along and showed a much greater proof than anybody ever had before of how these people are operating. But he dies on the day of this NATO meeting. And you're right. His name is Russell, and it's about Russia. It is interesting. It just makes you wonder. But R.I.P. to Jordan Maxwell. Hey, let's save the rest of the Sunday show because I actually need to wrap it up. Sweet lady, she just gave me the message and said that she wants to go to bed because she has to work tomorrow. So anyway, we'll save it for the Sunday show, my man. Appreciate it.
Thanks. Talk to you Sunday.
Yeah, sounds good, man. Have a good night. All right, sorry guys, I was gonna go on longer, but sweet lady, you know, she's the boss around here, and she wants, you know, me to spend some time with her before she goes to bed. She's got to work tomorrow, so anyway, congrats to the winners, and again, just you know, all of you guys who don't think sports are rigged, you really just got to pay attention, and if you don't think they're rigged, then you must just think everything's a damn coincidence because there's just way too many. Again, St. Peter's, this little itty-bitty basketball team on St. Patrick's Day over a number 2 seed Kentucky, who's one of the top teams in the tournament. And then, you know, Murray State's no slouch of a team. They went through them, and then now beating an even higher seed Purdue on Peacock Day. when they're a Catholic Jesuit school and the biggest statue at the entire Vatican's of a pine cone and 2 peacocks on the side of it. If you guys got here late, rewind the video, watch it from the beginning. NT Dreamer, you are super generous. I hope you won a lot on the tournament. You don't give it all back to me, though. I just wish everybody'd pledge $1 a month. This man just donated $120 in one live stream. And to me, that's an outrageous amount of money to donate. I'm just grateful for everyone who donates $1 a month. I wish more people did it. NT Dreamer just covered 120 people in the world who aren't doing their job. And again, you guys, I don't want $1 million a month to be a millionaire. That's not my goal at all. You know, money doesn't make me happy. I want a bunch of resources, a bunch of people supporting this work because they see it's the truth, and we need to, you know, create a Gematria army and get the knowledge out there and wake people up to the evil in this world that's messing us all up, you guys. Look at all the people. Look at how bad you're getting taxed at the pump right now because we still haven't taken care of the evil cabal that really runs the nation. You think that energy prices just had to soar just because of what's going on in Russia, Ukraine? You don't have a clue if you think that. It's Agenda 21 and 2030 all signed off on by the Jesuits decades ago. This was all planned a long time ago, and they just got to give you a story to make you believe that there's a reason for this to happen. Again, it's all about getting you to reduce your consumption. It's not that all their goals are bad. It's just the way they go about things, lying to you, manipulating you day after day. So anyway, thanks everyone who hit the like. Thanks everyone who tuned in tonight. Appreciate everyone who shares the videos. And again, thank you to everyone who pledges $1 a month on the Patreon. It means a lot. And oh, by the way, somebody, the guy who was on here, who came on, who changed his name from Young Pharaoh to Sports Gematria, something tells me he wasn't either of those people. But he left a comment that Itachi doesn't win any money. Itachi's sending me slips like this day after day, you guys. Itachi has 2 slips like this tonight. This is one of the 2 he sent me. But look, $20 bet he made that paid 402. Again, that's the way to play with this knowledge. What did he stick on there tonight, you know? You know, a lot of this he decoded on himself. Itachi is not someone that waits for somebody to do it for him. He learned from me, and then he goes out there and he applies the knowledge. He pays attention to how I do it, and he goes out and he's been using his own mind. And he's been turning over more stones than I ever thought to turn over before. He's getting deep with it. It's that StatMuse tool. But yeah, for the troll who came on and just wanted to talk shit about Itachi and said he was lying, here's his bet slip right here. That's Itachi. Shout out to Itachi. So $20 into 400. He did 2 of those tonight. He made over $800 tonight. Didn't even lay that much out there. His other parlay, he bet a little more and won a tiny bit more. But, you know, it's, yeah, I mean, and people are doing this all over the community. It's not just Itachi. There's a ton of, I have like in my phone and my email, I have like 500 of these from people in the community. 500 bets like that. $20 bet, $10 bet, $5 bet that turned into several hundred, some into more than 1,000, some into a couple thousand. People who didn't risk a lot but got a big payout, you know? And the difference between those people and my trolls is, you know, these are people who listened and said, wait a minute, there's something here. Let me try this out. And said, holy shit, I never won a bet like this before. Can't tell you how many people in my community said that. I never won this much money before. And again, I'm not trying to turn you guys into a bunch of gamblers. What I'm trying to turn you into is awake people to understand who rules the world, who's rigging the games, who's rigging the news, and who's fucking us all. That's what it's all about. So anyhow, NT Dreamer, really appreciate your generosity tonight. I just want to emphasize that. And seriously, no more donations for a long time, my man. That's more than a year's worth of donations, the way I see it. Way more. So appreciate it. And all right, I got to go say hi to Sweet Lady. Until next time, Truth Seeker.